I remember when I said that motor was all set and was running fine? Well, it decided to start puking fuel right out of one of the carbs and now it won't run. And the rest of the boat has issues, so it's going home. I'm getting a tug across the other side and we're gonna go load it on my friend's trailer and bring it home and do some restoration on her. So I'll be back. I'll just trade them for that one. I think that'll work too. Yeah, so it's the next day, and I got the boat home and brought a friend's trailer. And it's a lot nicer trailer than mine. It actually grabs the pontoons instead of the frame of the center of it, and a lot more stable go down the road. The cabin is kind of rough getting in and out. It took us about 2 hours to go a half mile to get this in there about 10 years ago when I brought it there. Doesn't owe me anything, you know. It's really haven't had any maintenance other than running it out of gas at the end of the year and dragging it up on shore. But it's time, so I figured I'd bring it home and deal with a bunch of stuff. One, you know, the carbs are kind of messed up on the motor, and when you're working on them in the water, you know you're gonna go drop something, and that's the end of it. So, and when I was looking at it, it had a bunch of other issues too. This is the transom, and that wood is gone. So I want to replace that before the motor just falls right off. Probably want to do the water impeller. It's been working fine, but again, it's who knows how old it is. And nothing works electrically other than starting it. None of the lights work, the horn doesn't work, running lights, the radio, etc., etc. They all did, but none of them work now. So I like to get all that stuff working again. It's got fog lights on the front. And again, it's a lot easier to do when you're home than when you're in weeds or mud or water. The bottom looks pretty good. The wood looks like it's holding up okay. The structure of it seems still decent. It's pretty much stainless and aluminum, so there's not really too much that happens to them, you know. Carpet's gone. Carpet's rotted and keeps growing moss. And a bunch of the wood structures are getting pretty beat up. All the interior pieces of these guys are pretty shot. So we used to have a place called Building 19. Building 19 was they would buy like leftovers of things, and they had a good like material section and carpet section and all. It would be like, you know, pretty much like 10 cents on a dollar. You can go buy whatever you needed. Some stalactites growing there, but they went out of business, unfortunately. So I try to find an alternate source. Like here's the structure for the let's show them, but the whole thing's rocking. There you go. You know, so you know all the wood's kind of all punky. I was kind of thinking of doing like a I like to do like a 50s diner kind of feel to it. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to spend a ton of money on it either, you know. The boat's an 89. I gotta see what's under there for wood, you know. Only material I have a roll somewhere, I think it's down in the basement of the house, of mahogany. Not mahogany, burgundy color. It's the same material that's in the in Lucy that I used. And I believe it's indoor outdoor. I put these on when I first got it. They seem like they're getting a little punky. I could put bar stools on there. I actually have diner bar, the tops of bar stools. I'll show you the material I have. I probably have about 100 pounds still on the roll. It's this stuff. And I seem to remember being fairly thick. The only thing is you gotta remember that the sun's gonna be beating on it, and the dog jumps on it, where his claws will kind of go through it or not. So I may have to do a test and lay some on the floor in the house and have the dog run across it and see if it holds up. But I guess first on the agenda is going to be getting the motor kind of squared away and running right, and dealing with the carbs. Don't feel going through anywhere, but it doesn't feel great neither. Yeah, just definitely showing its age. Yeah, I'm gonna shut you down right here, and I'll turn you back on when I start getting again. Alright, so pop the engine cover off, and I wouldn't call it an air cleaner. It's more of a, I think it's a diffuser, I think you call it. And got access to the carburetors, and I'm looking at the carbs, and I'll let you guys stare at it for a second and see if you see what I see. Caused the problem. Now the upper carburetor was okay. The bottom carburetor all of a sudden started dumping fuel, and I thought the float was stuck, because prior to it I had to squeeze the primer bulb. Primer bulb is there's a line that runs from the fuel tank to the carb, and what you do is it kind of helps prime it, and it's got a little check valve in it. You squeeze them, and the bulb it was running on one cylinder, and I squeezed the bulb and I felt something go puh, and then it started running. It picked up the second cylinder and started running correctly again. But then about 20 minutes later, after riding around, it was just pissing fuel out of the bottom carburetor. And I don't know if you guys are noticing anything yet. Anything? Alright. That right there is the drain for the float ball. There's no drain in the bottom of the float ball, and actually vibrated its way out. And it would be my fault, because I believe I had that out when I cleaned the carburetors over at the cabin, and must not have tightened it, or tightened it well enough. So I'm kind of hoping it's down in the motor down there somewhere in the caca. But that would be my problem. But it still had something, was still an issue where I had to pressurize the float ball to get one to go. So there's still a problem, I would think, in needle and seat in this, but that was definitely what my fuel problem was right there. Murphy's Law. I see a bunch of crap down in there too, so that looks like a plug of some sort. What's that? Don't know. So I'm gonna go hunt, go get a mirror, and we'll poke around down there and see if we can go figure out where that sucker went. If it's not in there, I'll come up with something else. But I think I'm gonna take those carbs back off anyway, and maybe even just soak them in the bath to really get them clean, because they've been sitting for so long. Well, they have been sitting, but they just have not been cleaned in so long. Alright, so I pulled some stuff out of my way, and lo and behold, what's that right there? Buried down in there. I got a flashlight kind of lighting it up. Show you where we're looking. So I never would have gotten that out at the cabin anyway. So, but it's non-magnetic, so we're gonna have to try to go in there with a little hook or some sort, try to pull that forward. And I think we might get a rainstorm. I hear some growling going on in the sky, which is good because it's 95 degrees right now. And it's got a hazy kind of something going on. Well, there's your problem. I'm a dum-dum. That is why I was pissing a little bit of fuel out. Just a little. I wonder why. And a little intermission. I took the top carb loose. We'll get the bottom one off, but something got in the way. I don't think it's going to last long. Let that pass over. Friend wanted a keg cut in half. We have the bud keg. He's going to turn it into a cooler. He wants it to flip up and on a hinge so that it still looks like a keg. You can put a tap in the center of it. It ends up being a cooler on the inside. Alright, 5-10 minutes. And so ends the rain. So I came back out, got those carbs off of there. Everything looks good. Take a quick peek in the reed valves. Look inside there. There's little one-way flapper kind of doors. They're called reed valves. They allow it to flow one direction, air-fuel mix, and not come back. I don't see any damage on those. Not that I'm going to go take them out, but I don't see any of them staying partially open or any cracks or anything. So off to the carbs. Let's go look inside them. And I'm going to open that bottom one up. That I was going to go in when I had it at the camp, but I never did. So now let's see if we can kind of get you set up here. Whack it with. It looks pretty clean. I don't see anything jumping out at me. But again, that one of them had a problem with the needle and seat because I felt it punch through. And I don't think that drain plug would have anything to do with it. Need a little something to push that with. Something must be the word of the day, right? Hold on. Excuse me, pardon me. Coming through. We need a stabber. I'll go around. Okay. Remember a long time ago? Watch this, guys. Remember I told you the gas tank was taken? What's the deal with that? The van just pulled up. Must have saw my video, maybe made a comment. He literally just dropped off a gas tank. That was weird. Remember AMZ was making a comment? He borrowed gas from me. I said the guy took off, never brought my gas tank back. Better late than never, I guess. Okay. You just never know. Well, made amends. Thanks. All right. Where was I? We were gonna go poke that sucker out of there and see if we can get to the needle and seat. I probably shouldn't have showed his truck, but my faith in humanity is reset. I don't know if you guys can even see this. Let's see what we're doing. Yeah, you're. Kind of a weird pivot. Usually these are like a stainless, the pin. It's plastic. Never seen that before. Got a little light up here we can look in. I don't see anything that caused that. He's not in this carburetor. We got one more to go look at, so I'm going to go look into that one. But while I have this one apart, I am going to start tearing it down. I'm going to soak it in the cleaner and clean out all the jets, blow it all out with the air gun, and make sure that we do not have any more issues with this thing. Alright guys, well, this one's going to be winding down, and got the carbs all put together, cleaned up, and blew out the motor case and everything, and made sure all my screws are tight this time and it's not going to fall apart. I grabbed some carb cleaner, doing a rinse off the motor a little bit better, and I figured I'd go grab a set of plugs for it. And can you tell which ones are the new ones and which ones are the old ones? That's probably about a 70 thousandths cap, and that's probably about 30 or 35. So that didn't help it run much neither. So as I said, I'm going to wrap this one up, and the next we're going to start getting onto is pulling that motor off of there and replacing that rotten wood. But you guys will start seeing that on the next video. So I guess we're going to call this, I don't know, Project Party Barge, and we'll start making a little series on this. Hopefully it doesn't last too long before we get into taking all the deck apart and carpeting and reupholstery and wiring and etc, etc. All right, we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.